The Boston Celtics, a storied franchise. The staple of consistency, they've missed the playoffs just 3 times since 2001. The Celtics are currently tied with the Los Angeles Lakers for the most championships in NBA history, and have done so through legendary play and a steady dose of Hall of Famers. During the 50s, it was Bob Cousy. For the 60s, it was Bill Russell, Sam Jones, and John Havlicek. For the 70s, it was Dave Cohens, and in the 80s, we saw Larry Bird. From the late 90s to the early 2010s, it was Paul Pierce. Then came KG, Ray Allen, and Ray John Rondo. Isaiah Thomas had a crazy year for them during the 2017 season, and now we see Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown look to continue the team's historic success. This year was the first time the Celtics made the finals since 2010. They fell just 2 games short of the Larry O'Brien trophy, but nonetheless, this season was an incredible stepping stone. Bringing back the same roster and adding Malcolm Brogdon and Danilo Gallinari to the mix, the Celtics will be championship contenders for a while. All they need to do is keep Tatum and Brown together, right? Right? What is going on, everybody? So, backing with another video. Some heavy-hitting rumors have circulated regarding the Boston Celtics and Kevin Durant. We all know about Kevin Durant's trade request, and recently he's asked the team to pick between him and the front office. It looks like KD's time in Brooklyn is coming to an end, and the Celtics have made an effort to get involved in the Kevin Durant sweepstakes. An offer was made for Kevin Durant, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, and draft picks for the Slim Reaper. The Nets declined, but the framework for a deal is there. It just depends on if the Celtics bite and add more. But why are the Celtics even involving themselves in this? A young team that just made the finals, why risk upsetting your co-star? Is this even a move that the Celtics should make at all? So many questions with so little answers. Let's talk about what I think should happen. To start, the hesitancy on any Kevin Durant deal is not just because of a potential package. It's also the fact that Kevin Durant is 33 years old, and has kind of caused issues on every team he's been on. He's a player who wants a lot of say on front office moves, and granted, it's a little deserved. He's one of the greatest scorers we've ever seen, and is still playing at an MVP level despite his age. A Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum duo would be crazy. It would cement the Celtics over any team in the Eastern Conference, depending on the trade package, of course. And I believe having 2 high-level scorers of their caliber could work. KD has shown in the past that he can adapt to whatever superstar he plays along, and him and Tatum seem to have a great connection. To just hit on the age a little bit, I know he's 33, but I mean, it's Kevin freaking Durant. On the year, he averaged 30 points, a little over 7 rebounds, and a little over 6 assists on nearly 50, 40, 90 shooting splits. That's wild, bro. 50, 40, 90? 50, 40, 90 on 30 points per game? Only KD, man. We know what Kevin Durant is as a player and what he brings to a team. So let's touch on Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown has been linked to a lot of superstars in trade talks for a while now. First it was Kawhi Leonard. Then it was Anthony Davis. Now we're here with Kevin Durant. He was an all-star last year and would have been one this season as well if the Celtics didn't get off to that slow start. It isn't all perfect for Brown, however. He still is kind of prone to turnovers due to his not so great handle, but that'll improve over time. Athletic scoring wings are a dime a dozen in today's league, especially those who are only 25 years old. With that in mind, you can see why the Celtics are hesitant on making a potential Kevin Durant trade. And the reason for doubt doesn't just stop there. You probably have to move him from Marcus Smart, who was a defensive player of the year, is still relatively young, and is the heart and soul of that Celtics team. What about other guys they might ask for, like Derek White, maybe even Robert Williams or Payne Pritchard, as well as multiple draft picks to get Kevin Durant? When you look at it like that, that's a lot to give up. But at the same time, this storied franchise has won just 1 championship over the last 30 or so years. You finally get that taste of success, so now is your time to capitalize. And it's not like this is a Kawhi Leonard or Anthony Davis situation. Kevin Durant is locked into his contract for 4 more years and will be on a team with an established culture, so I'm not expecting too much outside noise to fizzle in. We also got to talk about Jaylen Brown's upcoming contract extension. He has stated that he wants to be a Celtic for life, but things can change. And because so much can change in such little time, that's another reason why I see some doubt from the Celtics on this potential deal. You're giving so much for one player, and if God forbid Kevin Durant suffers another injury, you're right back to mediocrity. We've seen how big trades in the past have affected teams like the Lakers, the Clippers, and even the Nets. 2 times. But once again, I gotta go back to the flip side. For the Lakers, they capitalized on an opportunity to get Anthony Davis, and they won a championship because of it. Clippers, I believe they would have been champions as well if, of course, an untimely Kawhi Leonard injury didn't happen. Speaking on the Nets 2 times, the first time was in 2013 when they had just moved to Brooklyn and they needed fans in the stadium. They made that move to get KG and Paul Pierce, trading away the picks that went to the Celtics that got them Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. But as we can see right now, the Nets and the Celtics are kind of on the same playing field when it comes to championship contention. So a trade like that didn't really affect them too much. It's a lot of back and forth. And for the Celtics, you're thinking, what if you trade away Jaylen Brown, He goes to Brooklyn. He blossoms into this 28 point per game guy, is a consistent all-star, all-NBA guy, right next to Ben Simmons and Kyrie Irving if he's there as well. And they blossom into a championship contender. And then you're stuck with Kevin Durant post-injury, who dwindles down to just a shell of his former self. Kind of a loss in that situation. So look, y'all see me be a GM for a day in the past. So if I was in the driver's seat, if I was Brad Stevens in this situation, what would I do? I believe this is a deal you have to make under certain circumstances. Personally, I love when teams get aggressive and trying to win championship because it shows that they have that winning mentality. You can't always be hesitant like the Celtics have been for many years. Being aggressive got the Lakers a championship. Being aggressive got the Celtics a championship in 2008. It got the Cavaliers a championship in 2016, and it got the Raptors a championship in 2019. Say you make the move and it doesn't work out. Okay, you're still the Boston Celtics with a top 10 player that's adored around the league. You're gonna draw free agents. You're always gonna make trades to be able to get back what you lost. And there's always time to get more draft picks and such like that throughout the league. And I don't think these big trades can hinder teams as much as people make them seem. And you gotta think, with their current roster, are the Celtics better than a healthy Bucks team? Or even a healthy Nets team? Is it with certainty that they can beat the Sixers? Or the Heat, who just took them to 7 games? What about the new look Hawks and a handful of other teams in the Eastern Conference? I believe with KD, those questions become much easier to answer.